to my channel. Today's video is a very special one because I am doing a collaboration today with one of my favorite YouTubers. Her name is Kristi Bergman and she does tons and tons of review videos. She started a new series called Trying a New Makeup Product Every Day, and she has done over 300 videos. I look up to her so much. I subscribed back to her months and months ago when she had subscribers in the hundreds, and she has over 1,500 subscribers now. So she's definitely one of my biggest inspirations. So you guys should definitely go and check out Kristi's channel. She's so awesome, so funny, and so informative. And if I learned anything from her, it's definitely that you can get some really awesome makeup from the dollar store. Makeup doesn't have to cost a whole bunch of money in order for it to perform really good and for you to be able to do a really good look with. So we put our heads together and we decided that we're going to film for you guys a first impression video on a brand that neither one of us has played too terribly much with. So we were trying to decide between e.l.f., Wet n Wild, or I think Essence was the other one. So together we decided on using e.l.f. So yesterday I went to Walmart and I got myself a whole bunch of e.l.f. makeup, enough to do a whole makeup application with from start to finish. And I tried to focus on something that I would be able to create a really cute holiday makeup with. So if you want to see how I'm going to create a full face of makeup using nothing but e.l.f. products, then just keep watching. Okay, so we're going to start off with the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. They had so many primers. I was really having a tough time deciding on which one to get, but I decided on this one because my skin has been feeling really dry lately. So I'm curious to see how this is going to feel. This is pretty highly rated on the e.l.f. website, and it is full of vitamins. And it's supposed to be a brightening and skin tone evening out primer on top of being really hydrating. So it comes out like that. Kind of feels and looks like a moisturizer. So I'm just going to warm it up between my fingers and just apply it all over my skin. Oh wow, this feels different than I thought that it would feel. It feels a lot like the Smashbox Photo Finish primer. I thought that it would feel more like a moisturizer, but it feels quite smoothing, like it's more of a pore filling primer. That's interesting. That feels a lot different than I thought that it would. Okay, now that my skin is nice and primed, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Total Face Sponge. This you can use wet or dry, and I grabbed this one because it's latex free. I was interested to see the consistency of this sponge, and I gotta say I'm very happy with how bouncy it is. A lot of knockoff beauty blender sponges can be super stiff, but this one feels just nice and squishy, and I like that it's quite a porous kind of a texture. It's got a flat side and then it's got the curvy side, and it is definitely a lot bigger than a beauty blender. So for my foundation, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I know that Kristi has already used this in the past and has raved about it, so I have high hopes. I hope that I got myself a good shade because there were absolutely no testers at the Walmart that I was at. So I got myself the shade Natural. Usually I'm like an ivory or a natural ivory when it comes to foundation shades, so let's hope that this works. It says that this is an oil-free formula for a medium to full coverage, and it's a satin matte finish. I do like the packaging. It feels kind of high-end, even though it was only $6, and it does have a pump, which is a huge plus in my book. So I'm just going to use about 2 pumps to create a medium to full finish. So it does come out looking kind of moussey. It's a little bit of a thicker liquid foundation. So I'm just going to use the e.l.f. sponge and dab this all over my skin. I like the scent of this foundation. It smells very fresh and very clean. This color is definitely a little bit light for my skin tone, so we'll have to use a bronzer to warm things up a bit. Not really sure how I'm feeling about this sponge. It's not applying things on as evenly as I would like. I think using this in a more sweeping motion is going to work better than a heavy dabbing motion like I would normally use my Morphe sponge or my beauty blender.
2,000 years later.
So I think I definitely prefer my Morphe sponge and my real beauty blender as opposed to this sponge. I feel like it's taking a very long time to make this sponge apply the foundation on as smoothly. This kind of a coverage I can achieve with my beauty blender in less than a minute, but this has taken me at least close to 5 minutes to make it look smooth. To prime around my eyes, I am going to use my Lancome Advanced Genifique eye cream, so I am cheating a little bit. I cannot live without this eye cream. It makes such a huge difference with my dark circles. There's a thing called bifidus extract in here, and the bifidus extract just really helps to break up that darkness. Alright, for concealer, we're going to use the HD Lifting Concealer in the shade Medium. Because my under eyes are definitely darker than my facial skin tone, I do usually have to use a darker shade in a concealer, so that's why I picked this one. And I kind of like the idea of a lifting concealer. I've never tried anything like that before. Come on. So it's got pretty standard doe foot applicator, so I'm just going to dot a little bit onto the area. This is definitely a lot darker than I was expecting. And I'm just going to use my ring finger to just gently tap this in under my eyes. I definitely wish that I would have gotten a lighter shade in this, but I think there were only 2 other shades before this one, and it was like fair and light. And I'm usually never fair, and light just usually looks ashy on me, so hopefully with enough blending, this is going to end up working out. I may have to... No, this is too dark, way too dark. I'm definitely going to have to add a little bit of my own concealer on top of this to make this look not so scary. But I gotta say, I do like the way how this is going on. It feels extremely hydrating, and it does not look dry or creasy or crepey at all. So I'm just going to apply on top of it just a little bit of my own concealer in order to blend that in a little bit better. So just to keep with the drugstore theme, I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Age Rewind on top of the e.l.f. one, just a little bit so that it doesn't look quite so dark. I think I will probably take that concealer back and exchange it for a lighter color, because I am kind of impressed with the way how that went on. It feels extremely nice and hydrating around my eyes, which is something I definitely struggle with a lot. There we go. I blended out the edges a little bit too, so that it helped to warm up the foundation, since the foundation was a little bit too light. That's funny, we went too light with the foundation and too dark with the concealer. But that's okay, nothing a little bit of blending cannot fix. I'm going to set everything with my Coty Airspun. That's something that I forgot to pick up from e.l.f. is a setting powder. I'm not going to bake, I'm just going to use just a little bit to set under my eyes. Well, that was very smart. I didn't bring my brushes over here. My brushes are sitting right there on the desk where I left them because I just freshly cleaned them. Be right back. So I'm just going to use a flat fluffy brush in order to pack on a little bit of that powder just to help set everything. And I've been finding that if I press on the powder first and then kind of sweep it, it really helps to keep things from creasing throughout the day. And I have decided that I do not like baking under my eyes. It just does not look nice or smooth by the end of the day. Everything starts to just look really dry and very creasy. There we go. So our base is finally done. I am going to use just a little bit of powder just on the center of my forehead where I tend to still get a little bit shiny, and around my nose. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of powder in the areas that I know that I will use powder. Alright, so far so good. The concealer is definitely my favorite so far. So I think we're going to move on to doing the eye makeup. I'm going to use my Urban Decay Primer Potion. I didn't really see an eyeshadow primer by e.l.f. So I figured I'm just going to use this one. I don't have any drugstore ones, unfortunately. So you know the drill. You just dab this onto your lid. I know this is also Kristi's favorite eyeshadow primer. For the eye makeup, I picked up this eyeshadow palette. It's super pretty. It's called Rose Gold Sunset, and it is full of some really, really beautiful, rich, kind of burgundy gold kind of shades that I thought would be perfect for creating a holiday smoky eye with. I looked at all of their eyeshadow palettes, and this looked like it would be the closest and best at being able to create just a really pretty smoky winter makeup look with. I really like those kind of cranberry kind of colors, so I think we're going to focus on using those. So now that we're primed, I'm going to pick up this nude color, and I'm going to use that as my transitioning color in the crease. And I'm going to do that with a nice fluffy brush. That's a nice amount of pigment so far. I've only had to go over it twice to build up to the color that I would like to create. Not being too terribly precise with this because I want it to be kind of messy anyway, since it is just a transitioning color. For my lid color, I'm going to go in with that really pretty cranberry shade, and I'm going to foil it. So I'm going to wet my eyeshadow brush a little bit with my MAC Fix Plus, and I'm picking up the shade with a flat brush. Wow, that is beautiful. Using the same brush, I'm going to pick up that gold shade, and I'm going to press a little bit into the inner part of my eye. Using the same brush, I'm just flipping it over to the other side so that it doesn't mess up the pink. And I'm just pressing that just into the inner part of the eye, but leaving the center to the outer corner with that pink. With a smaller fluffy brush like this, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that top gold shade, and I'm just going to pop a little bit into the inner corner just to diffuse that darker gold shade a little bit. I'm going to deepen up the outer crease by picking up these two browns that are on the bottom. I'm just going to mix them together just so that they don't look too terribly dark, and I'm going to focus it into my outer corners. And for that, I'm using just a little bit more of a tapered, fluffy brush. And smoking out that outer corner. Using that same brush that I was just using, I'm going to dip back into the two darker browns, and I'm going to park it on my outer corner, and by looking up, just connect the bottom outer corner with the outer corner so that that smokiness continues. And that brush that I was using earlier to foil my shadows with, I think I'm going to pick up a bit of that pumpkin spice kind of color. I think using the pink under my eyes would be a little bit too much and would just make me look. So I'm just going to use that pumpkin spice color and just focus it into the middle. And going back to my transition color, I'm going to pick it up again with my fluffy brush, and I'm just going to fluff out the edges in the crease just to make sure that everything is nice and blended and smooth. And to finish off, I will use, it's one thing I don't like about this palette is that this is the lightest shade, which is the shade that I already put into my inner corner, so it's kind of dark to be on the brow bone. So I'm just going to use a very, very little bit of it, and I'm just going to just very slightly dab that under my brow bone. This palette is amazing. Everything is so pigmented. It was super easy to use. There was absolutely no fallout, and everything was super pigmented, especially the shadows that I foiled. They look stunning. I'm quickly going to tightline my waterline with the Lancome Le Stylo waterproof pencil. For my upper lash line, I'm going to use the black eyeliner pen that they have. This is a waterproof formula, and this appealed to me just because it looks like one of those really easy eyeliner pens. So it's just a super simple style felt tip eyeliner pen. And I'm just going to use this to line my upper lash line. And I'm going to keep the liner quite thin and as close to my lash line as possible. Wow, that was really nice and effortless and easy. And I really like the consistency of the way how this comes out. It is not super liquidy, but not really like a stiff formula either. And it does dry down very quickly. And I was able to keep it to a really thin line without having to try super hard. So I'm really happy with that. I'm actually really happy with everything so far, minus the foundation color and of course the concealer color. And I wasn't that terribly crazy about the primer. I usually don't like really dimethicone-y, really smoothing kind of primers. I just feel like they clog my pores and give me these little bumps all over my chin. Alright, so now that the eyes are pretty much complete, I want to do the rest of my face, and then we'll finish off at the very end with some mascara. So I'm going to use the Baked highlighter in the color Moonlight Pearls. This actually looks really pretty, and it looks like a baked style highlighter, which for some reason really appealed to me, even though I don't even really like highlighters. But I just thought that the shade just looked super pretty. So I'm just going to focus this on to the high points of my cheeks, and I'm just going to use a highlighter brush by Luxie. I will say there isn't too terribly much color payoff from this highlighter, which doesn't bother me too terribly much because I'm not that crazy about highlighters anyway. So I do normally want it to look very soft and subtle, and I'm definitely getting that kind of style out of this highlighter. For my bronzer, I'm going to go in with the Blush and Bronzing Powder in St. Lucia. This is something that e.l.f. is super well known for, and actually usually this is sold out at Walmart whenever I have tried to look for this. I used to have this a long time ago, and I don't know what happened to it, though I do like the packaging on this, by the way. I like the fact that it comes with a mirror, and it's just a really nice kind of heavy-duty kind of packaging. I thought that this was supposed to be a blush in here. Yeah, it says Blush and Bronzing Powder. That doesn't look very much like a blush to me. That looks more like another highlighter, so we'll see about that. First, I'm going to use the bronzer, and I'm just going to use a little bit smaller of a fluffy brush in order to do that so that it can really get into the crevices of my face. I remember why I used to like this so much. It is so effortless. It is just a perfect amount of sun-kissed color and glow. It has ever so slight shimmeriness to it, so it just really wakes up your face. Alright, and since I didn't actually pick up blush, I am going to have to use that one, so hopefully it will actually show up on my skin tone. I thought that was supposed to be like a nice, like, mauvey pink. Yeah, that did nothing for my face. That just added a bunch of chunky glitter particles. I am not a fan of that. Oh well. Let's just add a little bit of more bronzer diffused with that blush color. Just to add a little bit more color to my cheeks. Yeah, I think that's enough color. I picked up their brow pencil in the shade Neutral Brown. Unfortunately, they were sold out of the brunette one. So I have a feeling that this is going to be way too light for my eyebrows, but we shall see. It's the same type of packaging as the liquid liner. It's got a spoolie on one end and then the actual pencil on the other end, which is just a nice twistable pencil. It is nice and creamy, so it does actually look darker than I thought that it would look, so maybe it will be a good color for me. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Maybe the brunette one would have been too dark. So I'm just going to fill and brush until I'm happy with the way that my brows look. Let's see, what else do we have to do? Oh yes, lips and mascara. I think I'll save mascara last. That's always kind of my grand finishing step whenever I do my own makeup. So I got two different lip colors. I got one that's more of a moisturizing lipstick, and I got a matte lip color in the color Wine. I'm kind of leaning towards more the moisturizing lipstick shade. This is in the shade Ravishing Rose. And I think since we did kind of a rosy eye makeup look, I think this will go perfect with the rest of the makeup. So it's a really pretty bullet styled lipstick. It smells very sweet. And let's see how it writes. Oh yeah, it's like a nice see-through kind of a rosy shade. So I think this will look perfect with the eye makeup. Oh my gosh, this is such a perfect holiday color. I really like it, and it feels so lightweight and moisturizing on my lips. I really like this lipstick color. All right, the step that I'm the most nervous about is mascara. This is their mineral infused black mascara. My lashes definitely need volume and length, but especially volume. And the wand on this looked like it was going to be the closest thing to creating the kind of volume that I like. So it's just in a very simple black packaging, and the wand looks like this. This mascara, by the way, I forgot to mention, says that it contains all-natural mineral wax infused with kaolin and zinc oxide to create full, healthy-looking lashes. And the brush is designed to minimize clumping. Well, I can definitely vouch for that. It's definitely not clumping my lashes together. It is taking quite a long time to get them to be as volumized as they normally get from my Mr. Big mascara, but I thought that it was going to perform a lot less impressive. Let's just say that. It's not my favorite, but it definitely doesn't suck as much as I thought that it would. And I did actually forgot to pick up a setting spray as well, so I'm going to use my MAC Fix Plus just to set everything. So I'm just going to come in closer so that you guys can see the full detail of the eye makeup and the face makeup. I'm really happy with the way how everything turned out. So just to give you a little recap of everything, so my favorite products, let's see, would definitely have to be the concealer. I really loved, despite the fact that it was too dark. Definitely going to go and exchange this for a lighter shade. I really love this eyeshadow palette. Super great pigment, really good colors, very good color combination. Everything blended and went together super well. And my least favorite would definitely have to be the highlighter. I had to keep adding more to build it up, which, like I said, is definitely the kind of style of highlighter I personally enjoy, but I think for a baked highlighter, the consistency and the pigmentation could have definitely been better. And I was not super happy with this palette. On the packaging, it's very deceiving. It made it look like it was a really nice peach blush, but in the end, I think this should definitely be called a highlighter and bronzing powder compact. This is definitely, despite the fact that this is exactly the same product that I owned in the past, which was a peachy blush. I don't know if they just like changed the product and not the packaging or what the deal is, because even on the back it says St. Lucia. This is definitely not a blush and a bronzer. Definitely more of a highlight and a bronzer. And like I said earlier, not super crazy about the primer. But everything else I am super happy with. So thank you so much to Kristi for doing this collaboration video with me. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this style of video, and I'll definitely do more collaborations in the future. Like I said, please make sure to check out her channel and subscribe to her as well. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on my future uploads, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye!